Hi, friends. Welcome back to Someday is Here. I'm Michelle, and today I want to tell you a story. One I haven't shared in full before, but it shaped so much of who I am today. It's the story of the night I finally said out loud, I can't do this anymore. And what happened when someone I loved actually believed me. It was late. We were getting ready for bed. And I remember sitting on the edge of the mattress, feeling like I had nothing left in me. Not emotionally, not physically, not even mentally. For the first time in a long time, the words came out of my mouth before I could swallow them. I can't do this anymore. There was no yelling, no big moment, just quiet truth, quiet exhaustion. Sean sat down next to me. He didn't rush, he didn't minimalize. He didn't tell me I was strong enough to keep going. He just listened, softly and patiently. And then he asked the just gentle question, can I give you a hug? That moment, that tenderness, cracked something open in me. Because for the first time, it felt like he saw me. Not the version of me who held it all together, but the version who was breaking under the weight. For most of my life, I believed my worth came from holding everything to everyone. I watched my grandma do it. She was the backbone of our family, the one who gave every single thing she had. She was so selfless. She wore worn out shoes so the kids could have new ones. I learned early. Love means sacrifice. Love means doing. Love means being last. And then becoming a teen mom, that belief deepened even more. I didn't want anyone to think I couldn't do it. I didn't want to be judged or seen as irresponsible. So I became the mom who said yes to everything. Every sport, every volunteer role, every task, every responsibility. I was always on, always needed, always performing strength. And somewhere along the way, I disappeared. Michelle became a role, not a person. During my master's program, the pandemic hit. I was sewing thousands of masks late into the night. All the kids were home doing school online, and I was taking a full load of classes. My uncle lived with us, fresh out of lung cancer treatment, and every day I worried that COVID would take him. Sean was working in the ER, exposed constantly. Every grocery trip felt like a risk. I wiped everything down. I managed schoolwork, meals, schedules, the bills, all while holding every single fear in my body. And I remember thinking, I'm drowning, but I can't stop. Because that was the role. That was who I believe I had to be until that night when I said, I can't do this anymore. I didn't know if anything would change. Part of me was hopeful, but part of me was terrified that it wouldn't matter. But Sean looked at me, and I mean really looked at me, and something shifted. He asked how he could help. He asked what I needed. And slowly, gently, he made space. He started cooking dinner a couple nights a week. He helped wipe down groceries. He drove to activities. He checked in more. He became an amazing dance dad, showing up in ways that made me exhale for the first time in years. He didn't fix everything. He didn't become a different person. He just stepped into the load with me. And that small shift made room for me to finally start finding myself again. And I wish I could say I felt pure relief. But the truth is, I felt guilt. Deep guilt. Here was a man working 2 to 3 jobs, doing everything he could to provide, and I was asking for him to do more at home. Part of me wondered, is it selfish to need help? Isn't this my role? But another part, a small part, a shaky part, whispered, maybe I'm allowed to matter too. That whisper changed everything. If you're listening and parts of this feel familiar, if you're tired, overwhelmed, or living inside a role that no longer fits, here are a few gentle reminders and maybe some practices that could help you begin to shift. Name what you're carrying, say it out loud, or write it down. Sometimes the load feels so heavy because it is invisible. Let one thing be good enough, not perfect, not impressive, just done. Practice one small no this week. Say no to something that drains you, even if it's something tiny. A small no can be the start of a major identity shift. Ask for micro support. Not everything, just one thing. Can you take dinner one night? Can you help with bedtime? Can you handle this appointment? Small asks build new patterns. Give yourself permission to rest without earning it. You don't have to collapse to deserve rest. Notice the stories you inherited. Who taught you that self-sacrifice was love? Whose patterns are you still trying to live up to? Awareness is the first step towards choosing differently. Take 5 minutes this week and ask yourself, what part of my life feels too heavy to carry alone? What am I disappearing in service? Where am I disappearing in service to everyone else? What is one thing I can let go of, delegate, or soften? You don't need to fix everything. Just shine a light on one corner. And if you want something to hold on to, here's an affirmation from my own heart. I am allowed to have needs. I am allowed to change. I am allowed to rest. I am allowed to be human. That night in our bedroom, it wasn't the end of our struggles, but it was the beginning of knowing I didn't have to carry everything alone. Sean didn't save me. He didn't fix me. He didn't swoop in with all the solutions. He simply saw me and he heard me. And sometimes that's enough to shift an entire life. If you're carrying too much, if you're tired in ways you don't have words for, if you're losing yourself the way I lost myself, I hope today reminds you you're allowed to hand some things back. You're allowed to choose yourself. You're allowed to begin again, even if it is messy and slow. And as always, someday isn't a dream you chase. It's the moment you choose. One honest whisper at a time. I will see you in the next episode.